Welcome to Radio Boomers Live, the show about all things human from a baby boomer's perspective. All things hot and all things not. News, reviews, interviews, chat, text, and what's next. And here are your hosts, Reatha Gray from Betty White's Off Their Rockers and Easy's dad, Jim Zuley. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Radio Boomers Live. It's Monday morning and a bright sunny day in Los Angeles. Jim, are you with us this morning?
I'm here, Reef. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, I'm here. And you know what, Reef? It is a sunshiny day, and I'll tell you what, a lot of people have been going through some crazy weather, but I think it's coming back a little bit, like Texas is getting back to normal. And so, it's like, wow. Snowstorms in Texas, what's it coming to? How's it in L.A., Reef? Pretty nice?
It's gorgeous. It's been gorgeous here. We had a little wind yesterday, but it's gorgeous.
Well, we got the big birthday bash coming up. The EZWAY launch on the EZWAY app is the 20th, and Eric's birthday situation. And there's a lot of stuff going on. Let's just go to the EZWAY wall thing. It's March.
Oh, time flies. It's March 1st.
Yeah. Okay, we're in 2021, and it is. Can you believe that? I'm not going to say it's
unbelievable.
Reatha, it goes so fast.
Takes us up to our...
Let's get into that. It is about hot topic.
Hot topic time.
You got it.
Ripped from the headlines, today's hot topic. Well, today I'm still talking about the COVID-19 vaccination. Just a little more information this morning. They have approved the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. It's a one-time vaccine. They still don't know how long it'll actually last, but it's only one shot, not a series of two. It's been approved. They're supposed to start giving it out, I believe, today. If not today, sometime this week. So you can start signing up for it now. I still advise you talk to your doctor, get advice, see if you should take this vaccine, which vaccine would be better for you. Do your own research. You are your own best advocate. And I also want to say that this is the beginning of Women's History Month. It started with Ronald Reagan. He first passed a bill for Women's History Week, but some of the other areas had already extended the celebration for the whole month. So the Women's National History Project lobbied for a longer observation, and Congress passed a proclamation in 1987 establishing Women's History Month. And we just finished Black History Month, so I'm going to combine the two, and I just want to talk about Madam C.J. Walker for just a minute. She was the first millionaire of any color and female in the United States. Madam C.J. Walker developed hair care products for the African American women for their natural hair that helped it to grow, helped it to shine, helped it to look beautiful. And she was the first woman entrepreneur to be a millionaire. So who says women can't advance? Break that glass ceiling. What glass ceiling do you need to break as a woman of color? The doors are wide open. So my hat's off, and I'm saluting Madam C.J. Walker this morning. Jim, what's your hot topic?
Well, Reef, got a lot of stuff going on in the news here. And, we have stimulus check. Everybody's kind of wondering what's going on there. Well, they had to it looks like this is going to be passed, and we've got our cards. Some people get direct deposits, and some get basically a Visa card. And it looks like the amount for a single is going to be $1,400, and it could be possibly sometime this month. So, watch your mail. Don't throw away all the junk mail without checking it out. And the minimum wage is looking at about $15 per hour. A lot of employees saying it's a little bit too much. It's going to cause some layoffs, but it's going to, in the long term, help a lot of people. Some employees may not want to pay that much. So it'll balance out. The Dems shelved the minimum wage tax to speed up the work on the stimulus. So you got the low interest rates. Regarding the home prices, we were going over this last week. Well, these low rates are still low. They're still in the 3% category. And, the situation is there's not a lot of building going on. So the existing homes are really going up in price. So you're looking at a 30-year fixed in the low percentage, 3% range. Medium price house, California, $700,000. And to deal with a lot of those low rates, I think you're looking at somewhere in the 7. You got to figure 7% FICA score there. And then Republican Richard Shelby from Alabama, he's going to be retiring in 2022. The average spent on a vehicle per year is about $2,500. The average used car price is $20,000. New car price is about $37,000. Median income for a lot of people is around $61K. So before you go into debt with a car, make sure you can afford it. We had forced with a worsening budget crisis. LA looks to delay paying a lot of its bills, putting some of those off, like a lot of people have been doing. U.S. Fed deposit expected to exceed the U.S. Fed debt, expected to exceed the entire U.S. economy. It's a lot of debt there. What's the interest on that? And looking at a $2 trillion stimulus plan. But, the plan may stabilize the economy, too. It might make it grow. So the Fed's, we got GameStop. That's a big thing that's been going on. So they're investigating what's going on with GameStop. Bruce Springsteen charges dropped. CDC now saying the schools should open ASAP. Get those schools open. Jaguar, you remember the Jaguar automobile? Well, it's supposed to be going electric in 2025, and Japan was hit with a 7.1 earthquake. The aftershock was in the 9 category. A lot of damage there in the streets and everything, homes, businesses. U.S. begins distribution of third COVID-19 vaccination. Former French President Nicolas Sarkozy sentenced to jail for corruption. Prince Philip has been transferred to a different hospital after an infection he had. The United Airlines plane drops an engine, and it dropped down on a city, and it's basically nobody was hurt, little damage, but anyway, we try to get some of that news out there. There's some good news I try to get to you too, but we'll cover everything. Captain America, 80 years ago. 80 years ago, Captain America was first published by Timely Comics, which became Marvel. How about that?
Yeah.
Well, they got a commercial.
Time flies.
Yeah, time flies. Yeah, that was before us.
The BrainTap is a unique headset that combines light and sound frequencies with guided meditations. Dr. Patrick Porter, inventor of BrainTap and member of our faculty, has created 20 to 30-minute course reviews for many of our courses. Before starting a course or at any point before taking the exam, you can put on your BrainTap, close your eyes, and begin your course review. Brain tapping guides your mind from an awake, reactionary mind into an intuitive, creative state, then to a place where super learning and healing can occur, with the outcome being a heightened state of consciousness with crystal clear focus. Relax with scientifically proven techniques that create a symphony of brainwave activity, a feeling of calm focus that's just right for learning and productivity. Each session is designed with brainwave balance in mind. Some audio sessions have dual voice processing, which means you may hear two voices speaking at the same time. This technique is used for inspiring left and right brain balance.
BrainTap. I
Brain
tried
Tap.
BrainTap. It's fantastic.
Oh, it's amazing. It's a relaxer.
It absolutely is. Calms you down. Well,
What
we
would
have
it be
a
like
guest
tapping
this
in?
morning, Jim.
Well, we have Matt Doyle coming on with us. He's an actor, a producer, a real estate broker. IMDb director of EZWAY. Amazing gentleman. Matt, you on with us?
Yeah, hey, good morning, Jim. Good morning, Reatha. How you doing?
Good morning,
Doing
Matt.
well.
This is Reatha. Yeah, Matt. I'll tell you what, you're a busy guy, Matt. Thanks for taking the time to come on with us. And I'll tell you, a lot going on in the world today, and you're involved in real estate, acting. How do you get time to cover all these bases, Matt? You're a busy guy.
Good time management, Jim.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, you go back with us. That's for sure. And
yeah.
So, Matt, what were you? You're involved in acting and producing. What kind of got you on a path to get into the acting world?
Just enjoying the subject of art. I thought I'd just explore acting to see how that would go. And I was talking, and as far as the producing, I was talking to Eric this morning, and we were just talking about the fact that I'm the associate producer for Easy Talk Live. So that's fantastic, a great show. And I talk to all the celebrities for Eric and people that go on that show. I'm getting to know them all. So it's been a great door opener for me.
Well, it's go ahead, Reed.
I was going to say, tell us about this new position of IMDb as a director.
Yeah, I'm also the IMDb director for EZWAY Network, yes. So what I do is I handle EZWAY shows that need to be set up on IMDb, and then I add credits for those shows as well for the people that are on those shows. So it's a great position. It's allowed me to get a lot more credits, because I'm working closely with the producers of the shows, and it's really expanded my IMDb profile. And I've got to know some great people. And Eric's really been opening some doors for me. And now I'm starting to audition for Netflix TV shows and all kinds of stuff.
So, Matt, what do you see as a changing, the program's changing with what's going on? Do you see, people aren't going out to some of the big production studios with a lot of people in the buildings now. How do you see this affecting the industry?
Well, I mean, as you know, they're doing things virtually now, so that's one way it's affected it. People are just not going to live events. I mean, even the Golden Globes is going to be doing they did a virtual event, so because people weren't able to go to it. So, yeah, it's all becoming virtual now during the pandemic.
Some people, like Reatha, says she enjoys some of it because she can do auditions from home.
Yeah, I've been doing auditions from home too.
Yeah, the good news is you don't have to drive there. The bad news is you're a perfectionist, so you take 10 times as long to get your audition produced. I tell people I'm the location manager, the hair, the makeup, the wardrobe. You got to do everything. It's like you're creating a mini movie for your audition.
Exactly, yeah. So it ends up taking longer than driving there and doing it.
Exactly.
So Matt, you're into producing too. Now, what would it be? You're an actor and a producer. There's a big switch there. Which do you prefer?
I like doing both of them. And as you know, I act and produce my own shows, The Artist Process and Tap Interviews. And Eric's also an executive producer of those two shows as well, because he gets The Artist Process on the EZWAY TV network, and also the Tap Interviews, which was an idea he came up with that I produce as well. That's on the EZWAY network as well. So I enjoy both of them, Jim. I like acting and I like producing, and I like them both equally.
Yeah, and it gives you a little bit more control when you're having some kind of production and you're an actor, but you're also a producer. There's a little bit more control there, right?
Yeah, well, we also have a director. So, I listen to the director, but you still have like control of the whole film process.
Yeah. Well,
but you just collaborate. Sorry?
Yeah. Well, collaboration, right? And
yes, the collaboration. Yeah.
So, what do you think? Somebody wants to become a producer on a project. What do you think some of the challenges are that you're going to be initially facing?
Well, if you want to produce your own show, you've got to come up with the funds. That's the first thing you got to come up with, and the equipment. And then you got to buy equipment, and then you got to spend time on it. So those three things, yeah.
That's a lot involved to that. So right now, the productions they're doing that you're watching on TV, now down in Hollywood and all that, are they still doing it? But it's just a little bit more strict as far as how they can put a production together when they're filming. I mean, the distancing and all that. Or a lot of it shut down.
That is correct, Jim. Yeah, it's a little more strict.
Yeah. Social distancing and masks. Yeah.
They have the COVID advisors that are there, and they make sure that you stay 10 feet apart or 6 feet apart, and that you keep your mask on. I feel very safe on set as far as the COVID is concerned, because they do everything they can to make you comfortable and safe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's correct.
So what do you see as far, I want to get in the real estate too, but what do you see coming up? If you had a little kind of a bucket list, what kind of production would you like to do? I mean, a certain film or a TV show? Or what do you think's easier, trying to do an actual picture or a television production? Which avenue would you go in?
Yeah, well, doing the TV productions is a little easier than doing films because I want to do an action film, and as you know, in action films required stunt work. And so it's a little more tricky to act in and to also film as well.
Yeah.
Are you going to do your own stunts, Matt?
I'll do some of them, but any that I can't do, I'll have a double do those.
Smart
a
man.
Stunt double.
Smart man.
Thanks,
so
Reatha.
you don't want to fall off the horse or jump out of the car, none of that stuff.
No, none of that too difficult stuff, but the easier stuff I would like to do, yeah.
Yeah. What do you think? About half the actors like to do their own stunts, or do you think most of them the producers probably don't want them to do them because if they got hurt, it would slow down production, right?
That is correct, but some of them insist that they do most of the work themselves. I heard Tom Cruise is one of those, but he's getting a little bit on now, so he might need to rely on a stunt double a little bit more now in the future.
Well, yeah. He did this last movie. He did his own stunts again, and I agree with you. He's getting too old for that. He's just getting too old. You break easier the older you get.
Yeah. So
yes.
So you're doing a film or a production. What like when you're buying a house, they want a 20% down. Now, if you're starting a certain production, and you say, well, I suppose television is more affordable than actually doing a picture, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so what kind of percentage would you need to get it started? Say you have a rough budget of, say a film could cost $1 million, or inexpensive film. How does it work in this industry? How much do you need to come up with to get things started?
Well, you just need to come up with like whatever's in the agreement.
Okay. So
yeah, it's pretty open. Just whatever you negotiate.
Okay.
Yeah,
right,
pretty much you can't start a film if you don't have the budget, because you'll find yourself halfway through and you'll be in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah. I notice some funders like getting in there if they're not the first one. If they're like the second, somebody already puts them in there and they're more apt to jump in. So as far as the real estate going, now I had a little report in the news about the properties. There's not that many available, so it's boosting the property values up. what kind of advice would you give somebody that's, I mean, with rates so low, a starter, if somebody is interested in getting started, rates are still low enough where they can get in on the good stuff, right? The good rates?
Yes.
Yeah,
I would say, I would just say take advantage of the good rates, apply for a loan, get pre-approved, and then start looking for the property, your dream property.
And what kind of FICO scores would they be looking at to lock down a good rate? About 700 or up?
Yeah, at least 700, I would say at this stage. Yeah, but some of them do lower. They can cater for you lower. So
now they talk about get a 15-year compared to a 25, 30, whatever. But would you, what I'm thinking of is you take the 30, it'll give you a lower payment, and then you could always add to that payment. And then you have control, right?
Yeah, that is correct.
Yeah, okay, so you have a 15-year note. That's good. It's paid off 15-year, but you have to make sure you can come up with that. That's going to add, quite a bit to your payment. So it's the same basically, what are we looking at? About a 20% on most properties? They want 20% down?
Yeah.
Okay, so 20%, and you're looking at 3. All right, the rule of thumb used to be if you're buying a property, say, for $500, and you put $100 down, you owe $400, is it still $600 per $100,000 on your payment? So if you owed $400, it'd be $2,400 a month, not including taxes and insurance. Is it still around, estimated $600 per $100,000 you borrow? Is that still rule of thumb?
Yeah, still a rule of thumb, Jim, yeah.
Even though the rates are lower. Okay.
Yeah.
And now, what about the, all right, would you recommend a VA? Well, of course, you have to be a veteran. FHA or conventional? I suppose some might be easier to qualify for than others. Maybe an FHA might be easier than a conventional?
Yes, that's correct. So whatever you can qualify for and get the best rates.
All right. And then on that note, if you're looking at maybe not a conventional, you might go for an FHA loan. You might get an easier qualify, lower down payment, which would make it easier. But now on the downside, you might get stuck with the homeowner's insurance, which could be $200 a month extra on your note, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So that's now, if you get that mortgage insurance, is it permanently on your note, on your payment, or can that come off as your equity goes up? Maybe it might drop off because you're adding $200 or more to your payment. That's quite a bit. Now, could that drop off in a certain number of years, or does that stick with it?
No, you can drop off in a certain amount of years.
Okay, so it wouldn't be permanent, because if that's on permanently, you'd be maybe better off trying to get a conventional loan, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's not, as far as I know, it's not permanent, so you can. It's not there forever.
All right. Well, that's good. Now, all right. One more quick question: what would you, if somebody wanted to invest in real estate, would it be better off maybe buying and holding a couple properties if you can manage to do that, and rent them out, or maybe buying a few, fixing them up, and selling them?
They're both good options. So it just depends on what you would like to do, but they're both good ways to invest in real estate, and get returns.
Okay. Yeah, I know some have the drawbacks, but I've dabbled in both. And basically, you have to know what you're doing, right, Matt? You have to talk to somebody like Matt J. Doyle and find out.
You need to know what you're doing. That is correct. And yes.
So Matt, how would people get in touch with you? Say if they wanted you to be an actor in their project, or do you still actively do real estate?
Yes, I do. I do acting, producing, and real estate, and I'm also an entrepreneur in other things as well. So to contact me, they just go to chsjdoyle.com, and they can go to the contact page and submit the form, and I will that will directly come to me, and then I can get back in touch with them.
And you're also on the Wall of Fame?
Oh, yes, the Wall of Fame. Yes, I'm on the Wall of Fame. I have a profile on there. I've had more than 1K views to that profile. I believe I have 3 ratings so far, 5-star ratings. I was talking to Tina Ramsey, one of the other agents of the EZWAY Wall of Fame, and she was showing me a lot of things that it can do. It's amazing what can be done with this platform.
Pretty advantageous. That's what I'm hearing. EZWAY Wall of Fame.
It's amazing.
We want to thank you for coming on because I know you're a busy guy. You're going to be doing some audition or producing a show or doing some real estate deals. And busy guy, I give you a lot of credit. You're an inspiration to a lot of people, a lot of entrepreneurs or people thinking of getting into this. And we'd like to have you back again and do a follow-up on what's going on. But, until then, Matt, time to move along to our next session. But thank you again for coming on.
Thank you, Jim, and thank you, Reatha, and thank you to Team EZWAY. And as I said, it's opening up doors for me, and it will be able to do that for you as well. You know, the first step is to become a member of the Facebook group, the EZWAY fam, and then you go from there. Thank you, guys.
All right, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
He's quite a guy,
thanks,
I'll
Reatha.
tell you what. With that, we're going to move into a commercial and then Carmelita's Corner.
We are living in a digital age, and we think it's safe to say that all businesses are needing to transition from traditional brick and mortar to broadcast. Everything is really about data collection and building a community. EZWAY Broadcasting has created a social network/solution provider within the EZWAY network to help its members with this transition. Introducing the EZWAY Wall of Fame, a one-stop shop for business owners and influencers that help them to connect, grow, learn, and scale the EZWAY. Over the years, we have been building affiliates and partnerships in all genres. That means our platform utilizes all our members' businesses to provide services at a much lower cost, help sell their service, and promote their awareness to more potential customers. Through our new media empire, we have a reach to millions. Become an affiliate. Make money doing it the easy way. Create your free account today by visiting EZWayWallOfFame.com. Accelerate your influence through direct access to the right influences. We have many TV shows that our members can be interviewed by. We have our own magazine and radio station to promote our EZWAY Wall of Fame members' profiles, which they control. The more friends you get, the bigger your business will grow. Join the EZWAY Wall of Fame community for free today.
You are about to experience Carmelita's Corner. Carmelita's song Rosebud made it to the top 40s with the godfather of soul, James Brown. She's the founder of the Rose Breast Cancer Society. Now here's your host, Carmelita Pittman.
Well, hello there, Radio Land. Here we are, and I hope you're feeling grand. I am. I've got a wonderful guest coming your way today. His name is Chris Cornelius, and we've been friends for some time now, and we've done a little bit of musical collaboration, which I'm looking forward to having you here today. He is an intuitive music producer, recording instrumentalist, vocalist, and he is a multi-talented musician. He has his hands on many instruments that he plays and has mastered. He's taken a long musical journey, and he's had many influences in his life, in his musical life, such as Pink Floyd, Jethro Tull, Genesis, the Beatles, and many more. But he's also come to his own conclusions that has been deeply inspired by his spiritual path, which you will learn more about, and I'm going to give him a chance to tell you more about it himself. And welcome, Chris Cornelius.
Good morning, Carmelita.
All right. Good morning. And isn't it a beautiful morning today? I mean, looking out, the sun is shining and the birds are singing, and it's beautiful out where we are. I think this is where people are going to probably want to come. Maybe I shouldn't broadcast it too much, but I hope you're feeling great this morning.
Yeah, I'm great. This is a beautiful Southern California morning, March 1st here. Spring is right around the corner.
Yes, it is. And I want you to tell us about your musical journey. You really have covered quite a lot of ground. Can you tell us how you got started?
Sure. Well, I have to go back to my father, John Cornelius, who was a fabulous keyboardist. He came up during the big band era in the 50s, and he's also a Navy veteran, was a Navy pilot in World War II. But he played with a lot of different singers, but the most notable was Patti Page. He actually worked with her and helped give her exposure on his radio show that helped launch her career. And so I've been listening to jazz music and other kinds of that era since the, my early years. And, of course, I grew up in the classic rock era, so I became a rocker. My dad hated music, of course, but he learned to be more flexible later. But so I played a lot of rock music for years, and then in 1984, I discovered a path called A Course in Miracles, and went deeply into it, and that just sort of slowly over many years changed my focus on what I would write about. I started writing songs when I was in my late teens, and a lot of other influences came in, New Age music, and it just was sort of this, looking back after all these years, there was something moving in me that kind of directed me to where I'm at now. With my music, not only with what I play and the styles, but what I write about.
Well, you definitely go by inspiration. Like I said, you are an intuitive musician and definitely on a spiritual course. And I first learned about you when I attended an event at Westmoreland when Pasquale had his art center there, and you played at one of the events that he produced at that time. Do you remember those days?
I remember. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
A lot of fun, and hopefully Rocco is listening in. If you are, hello, Rocco. I know that he posted on your page when you announced that you were going to be my guest today. And also a shout-out to Pasquale and all of our other friends out there who were around during those days. I know they're listening. So, yeah, you know what? We really did hit it off because we wound up with a collaboration, and I am so pleased with the results. And it's called Joy of Being. And I've been given the opportunity to place my artwork on the cover. And can you tell us about your plans for this venture?
Well, when you invited me to come on your show, it just popped into my mind. This recording that we had done, I think it was about 12 years ago. I haven't really used it for anything, so I thought, let's do something constructive with this. So I've decided to take proceeds from this and donate to your Rose Breast Cancer Society.
That is so wonderful of you, Chris. You have a great heart. And, they say that there's benefits to being generous. That is a beautiful fruit, of spirit, one of the beautiful spiritual fruits. And I do appreciate the gesture, and God willing that it will bear fruit and that people will take the opportunity. I'm going to give them that website where they can go, and then they can order this selection. It's www.healingvibrations.bandcamp.com. And that's also posted on the page that we announced this on my husband's page, Jerry Pittman. And we're looking forward to letting everybody hear it. So, God willing, we've got a new engineer today. I'm not quite sure how this is going to go. So, David, if you're listening, will you please put on Joy of Being?
On the run, there's so much to see. Right here, so much to do in God's universe. Oh, yes. And all of the answers, everything is here.
It's all there.
Flowers.
Already.
Here.
Well, Chris, you know, it's a lot of fun listening to that again. It's been a while.
Yeah, I agree. It was interesting to hear it on the phone. It was like when you hear on hold music, you know. But what an inspired piece for people to hear if they were waiting on hold. You know, over the phone it sounds that way.
Yes, and you know, I noticed that you are very much inspired by the Eastern sounds from India. Yes. You know, I had the privilege of growing up with that as part of my cultural heritage because my stepfather was from Pakistan. And he had a very close friend from India named Bhupesh Guha, who became my dance teacher when I was around 9 years old, and I was learning how to do the Manipuri Hindu classical dance. And when I became an adult, also as a child, I performed for different embassies coming over from India, when they had these big events. And I remember they had the Eid was the big feast that they had. I would perform at some of these special occasions. And also at USC, I performed in Boulevard Auditorium, and then also in a movie about Marlon Brando. So this form of music has been with me ever since I can remember. I've loved the sounds of India. And the Beatles, they did a whole, George in particular, he did, John, excuse me. John did
George too. George got really deep into it.
Yeah, they really, really did. They went to India and they followed the culture there.
Maharishi.
And
yeah.
Yes, the Maharishi Yogi. I remember those days, and you have mastered those instruments yourself. So you play the sitar, right?
Well, I play a sitar guitar. The sitar itself's a little bit too big of a commitment, so I kind of cheat a little bit and use the sound, but it's an instrument that's actually a guitar, but they use the same kind of bridge that a sitar uses, so it gets that little buzzing kind of tone.
Yeah, do you remember seeing the sitar in our dining room?
No, I don't. But I'm sure I would remember 10 years ago.
Yeah, well, I remember when you came over and we did that recording. I had all of my instruments here. I've got a little collection also of different instruments. Some of them I made. There was a lady who I met years ago. Her name was Susan Rockcliffe, and she taught people how to create their own musical instruments, which I still have. I have an ocarina, which is made out of ceramic. Yeah. It's a ceramic round flute, and when you play it, it sounds like a hoot owl.
Yeah, I used to have one of those. I accidentally broke it though. I dropped it.
Oh boy.
Oh well, I can always get another one.
Yeah. How many instruments do you have?
Oh, well, I got a bunch of guitars and keyboards, a bass. I have a collection of, I call them ethnic flutes. My favorite flute to play is the Native American flute. In fact, I have an entire album that's mostly that.
Mm-hmm.
The Native American flute.
Yes. That's a beautiful sound.
And then I have a collection of hand drums, too. Djembes, doumbeks, which are Middle Eastern drums. I think, you know what? I have an African talking drum, and I remember using that at a show we played in Hollywood, I'm thinking 2009 or something. Remember that show we did in Hollywood?
Yes, I remember. And you called the title of our show Primal Dance.
Oh, okay.
I still have the announcement, that went out, and I was wearing one of Pasquale's wearable pieces in one of my performances with the long boa made out of leather
That's
pieces.
That's right. I forgot about that. Pasquale
and
made
feathers.
Some really interesting, interesting wearable art. That was very unique. Awesome, Pasquale.
Yeah. So we go way back, and hopefully, we'll do some more collaboration. We just did that one piece. I think there's room for us to do more.
Sure, why not? I'm down.
Okay. And the wheels are of creativity are turning, and there's so much to tap into, and there's more and more creativity afloat now as we speak. I mean, it's all around us. People are just really tapping in to their creativity, and they're discovering what they're capable of doing, and it's amazing.
Yes, I agree. In fact, just last night I released my new single, Answer of Answers, on the Bandcamp page that you announced. So that's out as of about 1 a.m. Well, actually, it's this morning that I released it. I'm a night owl.
Okay, well, a lot of creative people are, you know, and you know, it seems that you get these inspirations early in the morning, really early in the morning.
I get them anytime.
Yeah, but I mean, in particular, you know, sometimes I am asleep and I'm actually hearing the instruments and the music as though it was actually playing, and I wished I had a tape recorder attached inside of my head so that I could play it back again. But one of my friends was saying what you should do is get up and record it on there's some kind of way that you can put it down on.
You can do it on your phone.
Yeah, that's what they were trying to explain to me. How do you do that?
Well, there's, you know, most phones, either you have the voice recorder or you can download it, the app, free app for your phone. It's just voice recorder, and then you can just record it right there. I have a Samsung S20, which are actually Note 20, which records pretty good quality. But yeah, that's the way that it's amazing what we can do on our phones now.
I'm still, you know, a dinosaur when it comes to tech. Poor Eric, he's the producer of this show. He's probably ready to choke me because I'm so, you know, far behind. In some ways, you know, it's a funny thing. In many ways, I'm way ahead. But when it comes to tech stuff like that, oh my God, please, I need a lot of help.
You got to get a neighborhood kid to show you.
Well, actually, I've got someone better than that. I've got a professional that's been coming over on a regular basis, you know, and working with me. And I've been able to do a whole lot of things that I wasn't able to before. We just produced a video, and would like for people to see that on YouTube pretty soon. But I've got one eye on the clock, and I know I'm going to be getting the yoke, the hook, if I don't sign off now. So let me just thank you. Thank you so much, Chris, and I'm so glad we have reconnected, and looking forward to doing some more collaboration with you. And again, to our listening audience, each $1, it's $1 for this election, only $1, and that
or
will
more
go,
if you want.
Yeah, or more if you want. And that will, thanks to Chris Cornelius' generosity, will be going to the Rose Breast Cancer Society, a 501c3 nonprofit and living memorial for my mother. Thank you so much, Chris.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Looking out, the eye that sees can never turn around and see itself. Rising up, deep within, awareness comes from a glorious hidden realm. But the mind will clamber to define everything it sees. Yet the one who's seeking is his own answer in reality.
Yes,
well,
indeed.
We're back.
That is some
and
talent.
Let's go
there,
to Tech Time. Well, I'll go on to Tech Time without an introduction.
That's okay.
Smartphone, cell phone, PC, Mac.
It's tech time.
Last week I talked about dumb phones, and I had some people question me, why would anybody want a dumb phone when there's smartphones all over the place?
Smartphone,
especially as we
cell
get up
phone,
in age.
PC.
It's tech time again.
Get up in age.
Go for it, Reese.
What can I say?
I'm taking notes.
As we get up in age, we don't need all of the bells and whistles. We don't need to just spend that much money on telephones. So you might want to get a dumb phone simply because you just want to make calls and you just want to text. And you may only want to do that with your grandchildren. So you can get a dumb phone. They're generally much cheaper than buying for a phone. You can even pay for them by the minute. So if you really don't expect to use it that much, just get one of those plans where you just buy, maybe 100 minutes, and then you do have to use them up in a certain period of time. So check and make sure you know when the expiration date is, so you do use your minutes, but it certainly costs a whole lot less. The other reason everybody should have some type of cell phone is if we have one of those sun flares that they're talking about that says it'll do away with all of the cell towers, or all the phone lines, the landlines. You might want to have a dumb phone just for a spare, just so you can make that 911 call. Now, it's going to run out of electricity eventually, too. But if you keep it plugged in and keep it ready, if there's an emergency, the phone lines go down. The people back east, I'm sure, would have appreciated some dumb phones when those snowstorms were hitting. So it also can act as your emergency phone. So I'm not recommending that everybody go out and get dumb phones. I use every bell, every whistle. I pay for extra bells and whistles on my cell phone. But if you don't need it, only get what you need. And a dumb phone might be right for you. That's my tech time, Jim. What is your tip for today?
Interesting stuff, Reese. Interesting stuff. So I shopped for some articles and for the baby boomers and other people, anybody. And I, dealing a little bit with the finances here, I found one in Forbes that I thought I'd share. The baby boomers, don't buy into these 10 pre-retirement investment myths, okay? So I'm just going to share a little bit about some of that. As baby boomers approach retirement, they may encounter a lot of so-called expert advice in telling them how to invest just before or during their golden years. Now, I have one individual that's good at this, Jeffrey Levine. He knows what he's talking about, but I'm going to go on a couple of these myths here. Safe investments like CDs are the best. The biggest risk factor retirees isn't the market, it's inflation. Most of today's retirees can expect to live 30 years or more. Well, a little bit more. You're talking about 30 years of retirement, hopefully. At 2.5% inflation over 30 years, safe investments like CDs will lose half their purchasing power. Okay, so one little tip there. You can make big investments on all at once and start seeing an income. All right, a big investment all at once and start seeing income. Okay, investors and financial advisors can flip a switch and start taking income when someone retires. Well, it takes time and planning over months and even years to research this stuff, because you don't want to be losing your money. Losing it at 30 is one thing, but losing it at 60 is a different situation. You can spend 4% of your retirement funds annually. The old assumption that you can spend 4% of your retirement funds annually and not run out of money needs a reboot. People are living longer, and medical and care costs are much more. And we were talking about all the unexpected things that come up. You're helping the kids and the grandkids and, remodeling your house, things like that. A lot of it you didn't budget. Focus on accumulating assets. Those who are retired or nearing retirement should shift their focus from accumulating assets to turning them into income. Okay, how about that? Retirement is all about income. All right, once the income is solved, make sure you have increasing income. All right, that's compared to decreasing. All right, toss your stocks to reduce your risk. A common myth is that those investors in or around retirement should throw out all their stocks because it may be too risky to keep them. Okay, so while it's not a good idea to sink every penny into stocks, they can be very beneficial for a rounded portfolio. All right, another one. All right, we got Medicare will cover, now these are the myths. Medicare will cover all your health expenses in retirement. The most common myth around retirement is that Medicare pays for all your health expenses, including long-term care costs. 1 out of 2 people over the age of 65 will need some form of long-term care. So invest in a long-term care policy, even if you feel you won't use it. Okay, we never know there. Lean conservative in your investments. All right, remember, these are myths. It is a myth that it's wise to always tilt heavily towards conservative investments as you near retirement, as this does not always consider your estimated retirement spend, which assets you start with, or how to keep up with inflation. Interesting, huh? It doesn't matter where you draw your retirement funds from. Okay, remember, I'm not reading facts. I'm reading these myths here. Okay, so leading up to retirement, so much attention is on accumulating assets, but it's a myth that savings is where the planning process ends. Now, it's equally important to know that which accounts to tap first when withdrawing funds so you can maximize your tax-exempt, tax-deferred, and taxable accounts. A smart withdrawal strategy can have a significant impact on preserving fuel for retirement. Okay? Interesting stuff. Move everything to fixed income instruments. Another myth. Generally, it's advised to move one's retirement portfolio from stocks to fixed income instruments. Still, one should be careful not to move all investments into bonds. You may invest up to 40% of the portfolio in stocks through your less risky index and mutual funds. And 10, we have go high risk, high return to speed up the process. Another myth there. The prevailing myth when it comes to baby boomers near retirement is to invest in high risk, high return stocks in order to incur the quickest return possible, since they are getting older with less time to invest. Well, but getting fast and loose with your money is also the quickest way to lose what you've invested. No matter what your age, you can grow your investments with medium risk stocks. So there's just a couple of tricks there, Reatha. I mean, we got to be careful. You don't want to save up some money that you've worked hard to save for many years and then go out and lose it in the stock market or something, I mean, that's,
a lot of people are being hit really hard with COVID hospital bills. People have stayed, not just days, but weeks or months in the hospital, and they're getting hit with their 20%, which is in the millions of dollars. So medical costs are expensive, so that long-term insurance is very important.
Well, Reatha, these unexpected things, I'll tell you one that was really unexpected, and then we got to wrap up here in a couple minutes, but in Texas, this is just one out of many, many, many people. This veteran, he's a retired veteran, he said it took his life savings to pay 1 month electric bill. How about that? Well, why? Because they had a situation where they paid so much for electricity, but if it went over that amount that they have in their little policy, whatever that is, they have to pay really high rates. Well, it turned out they went way over their allotted stuff, and it was they're getting $18,000 bills, and his was $16,000. He said that's about what he had in savings. But with that, Reef, I think it's time to wrap up and head out, and we'll see you guys next Monday morning. Remember, Radio Boomers Live, Monday morning, 10 o'clock, and go to the EZWAY Wall of Fame. And what do you think, Reef?
I think it's a wonderful, wonderful day. Wish everybody a happy March 1st. And we will see you next Monday at 10 a.m. right here.
You got it. Radio Boomers Live signing out. Keep moving. Keep the faith.
Stay safe.